Okay. Welcome are we live? So sorry.
Give it one.
Okay.
We're good, Kevin.
Okay. Welcome everyone to. Are we live? Oh, so sorry.
Back at it. Okay.
Okay, great. Welcome everyone to the February meeting of the Monroe County Land Bank Corporation. We have got relatively full agenda, including the following items. We will get approval of last month's meeting minutes. We'll have the treasurer's report. We'll have an introduction to Nixon Peabody with our good friend Laura Smith. We'll have some payment authorizations, property referrals update, an update on the modular homes and demo RFPs. And then we did get a new proposal for our accounting RFP. And so I would like to make a motion to add the ProNexus accounting RFP to our agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Everybody in favor of that? X, yes.
Aye.
Okay, a roll call. Kevin Purcell is here. I am here. Annalise,
Present.
here via video. Amy Grande,
Present.
Orlando Ortiz, here. Deborah Campanella,
Here.
Jennifer Cesario,
Here.
and Failure Right is here. Stepped out of the room for a moment, but is in attendance and will be back in a minute. On to our agenda. The first item is approval of the January 14th meeting minutes, which were distributed via email. Does anybody have any corrections or questions on those meeting minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes as distributed?
So moved.
Don't forget that girl.
Second.
I had one trip like that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion passes. The next item, are RFPs that have been shared out. Pat, I think you're gonna give us an update on that.
Yeah, so I just want to give Anna credit. We sent our RFPs out to, contractors who might be interested in this work. And she worked with her connections, with the Unicon and the Builders Exchange to post on their platforms, which is advertising we would have had to pay for otherwise. So we appreciate her work because Comida has a relationship with them. She was able to get them to do that, which extends them to a much wider audience. And so we're really happy that you did that because we should get some really good proposals.
Thanks, Pat. Yeah, the Builders Exchange posts Comida projects to its plan room and has a pretty far reach with the regional contractors. So hoping that we'll get some robust responses to the RFPs.
Great, thank you so much to both. Next item on the agenda is our introduction to Nixon Peabody with their main contact for us and our former county employee Laura Smith, who will join us today. We're so happy to welcome her back.
Delighted to be here.
Is there anything that you'd like to share in terms of from your perspective that starting from here?
I will, so I brainstormed. I will share, I will have a paralegal, Luz Espiritu Santo. She's going to be my main person. The goal to help streamline and consolidate is I'll have one paralegal. That's going to be Luz. So there might be opportunities that Luz is emailing you or emailing the board. My goal is to help you reach your goals. So it'd be nice to know if there's any, I know I had a conversation with Pat and with Josh earlier last month about goals and hearing about the property transfers and knowing we have to get the ARPA funds spent by the end of this year. But certainly any goals or items that you want to make sure that we accomplish in 2026, I'd be delighted to hear about it.
You want to develop 3 properties.
That's right. Those 3 properties is where we are headed. That's for sure.
Within budget.
Within budget. That's right. That's right. It's a good start. While we're talking about legal, we have a new person from the county legal department, Bridget, and I'm sorry, I forgot your last name already. Bridget Cook. So welcome Bridget to to our meeting today. Anything you want to talk to us about, Josh? I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, so, my last day at the county is March 6th. I have accepted a position at the University of Rochester. So, Bridget has a lot of planning and development experience, and so she'll be helping out from county law. It's been a pleasure to work with everyone here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations to both of you.
Sad to see you go, but it's a
I know.
big day for you, Bar.
Thank you.
And Bridget, we're very excited to have you on board. Looking forward to working with you as we move forward. Okay, next on our agenda is payment authorizations, and we do have a series of these. Pat, I don't know if there's anything you want to talk, or is it just go to a vote for these?
Yeah, so actually, the first three that we'll reference are all below payment authorization requirements for this board. But as we've been doing, we just want to make you aware of them. And actually, I know that Amy has the treasurer's report, so we can probably jump into that before we go into the details. And then there's a fourth, which I will explain when we get into, because it is technically not a payment, but it is a check we need to send back out. New York State sent us more money than we should have related to the Homes and Community Renewal LBI funding. I'll explain a little more when we get to that, but I'll defer to Amy for the treasurer's report.
Yes, I apologize. I skipped over.
No,
the
that's
treasurer's
okay.
report made, so never-
So the beginning balance was $7,681. LBI funding deposits of $17,799.58. Total expense withdrawals of $6,533.86 for an ending balance of $18,946.72.
And then, so to provide a little more color to that, we submitted a reimbursement request that was authorized at the last meeting and signed by, I think, either Amy or Kevin, I can't remember who. That was sent into New York State. Within that 2-day time frame, New York State reached out to us regarding the renewal application and closing out 2025. Our reimbursement request did not close out 2025. So I rescinded that via email, which I'd done for a previous disbursement. Somehow they didn't catch that rescission. And so we placed another reimbursement request for the full amount of 2025, which ended up being, I believe, $6,533. And New York State sent us both a check for $4,731.26 and a check for $6,533. Unfortunately, it's for the same expenses, so we can't keep that, the first portion. So there is a process to send that money back to New York State, letting you know about that and bringing it to this board. It's technically not really covered in our payment authorization scheme. We don't really have a return process, but it is in an amount that we would bring to this board normally. So we wanted to make sure you were aware of it, and we can authorize that before we send that back to New York State. And then the other three payments, I can think, is that, you want me to cover that, Amy?
Well, should we have a motion to pay that back?
Sure. First questions. Any questions on that?
Did we deposit it?
We get ACHs from New York State,
I
so
see. Okay.
they deposit it.
Hmm.
It was funny because we don't pay close enough attention to the bank account where we watch it every day and see these deposits and think, oh, something's wrong. But at the end, we're like, we have more money than we anticipated. Something is up here. And so that's when we realized that we have an extra $4,000 that we unfortunately can't keep.
Yeah.
But thank you for paying attention and knowing that that was incorrect and remedying it right away.
Better
I
to catch
appreciate
now
that.
than during the audit process.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
So can we get a motion to return that overpayment to HCR?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, great.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Our next item is our property referrals update. And
There was two more invoices. You just wanted to talk about the daily record and the RBJ. They're both under $100. So those are expenditures too.
Yep, so we have to publish notice of our meetings, which is required because we are a quasi-governmental entity through open meetings law. So we submitted that to the Daily Record, which costs $65.85. And then we also publish it to the Rochester Business Journal, which costs $78. So that's for our yearly meetings. We should have no other additional expenses related to that unless we cancel meetings or something like that. I don't anticipate doing so, but we may have additions based on the special meeting and things like that. But they'll be cheaper because they're less information to publish. And that will be coming out of our LBI funding, that is operations expenses. Specifically our marketing line.
Any questions on any of those updates? Or
And those are below thresholds to be approved. They've been authorized by Treasurer Amy.
excellent. Okay. We'll move on to the next item, which is the property referrals updates, and Amy or Cliff, I'm not sure who has that update, if you have one to provide.
Amy and Cliff both had an update.
Okay.
Cliff put all of the paperwork together and it went to Ledge and it was approved last evening. We did all of this, Pat's team worked with the seekers and everything was approved last night.
Fantastic.
Yes, we
great
should have our
news.
first, I don't know if we should have a pizza party when we get that. We have the rezos in our hand, but we're there.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's big news.
Great news, yeah.
Exciting.
Were there any questions or concerns?
No.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
Oh, I lied. At committees, there was a couple of questions just overall, so I won't speak to that because my two friends handled that.
Yeah, Cliff, you want to go?
Oh, so during committees, there was a question asking how do we acquire properties? And then what happens after the property is transferred to new homeowners with proceeds? So we answered those questions.
We just explained, the goal is to sell these properties and then use those funds to leverage either grant funding for future properties or work on future projects. Which I think the legislators were, of course, happy to hear because it sounds sustainable when you put it that way. There's a lot more detail to it, but they're very happy with that effort.
I'm glad they asked.
Yeah. I am surprised we didn't get more questions, to be honest, but
Yeah, they didn't ask anything last time, which was great.
Yeah.
Follow-ups.
So we've been at this for over a year. This is Herb's, at least a round of applause or something.
Now the work begins.
All right.
Thank you for all the efforts to get that through. I know it was not a small lift. Okay, any other updates regarding the properties that in terms of with the towns or anything else that is worthy of being shared at this point?
No, we've had some conversations with the towns about the modular RFP. Mostly positive. We'll have to work through, the permitting process and things like that. And we'll see where that leads us. I'll skip, I don't want to skip ahead to the RFP updates, but I have some things there. But we're gonna work full steam ahead to get these properties moving forward. Once they come into land bank possession, it triggers a few actions on our part. We will insure them. We will get them surveyed and get them appraised. So that way we have materials for the construction firms to move forward and the appraisal. So that way we can determine what is currently fair market value and we don't have a surplus that we have, or we have a documented number in case anyone tries to claim surplus. But we don't believe that will be the case, but we'll see.
Okay. On to our next item,
Yep.
which is the RFPs the RFP updates. And so first on the list is the modular home RFP. Bidders conference was held this morning, 3 firms attended.
Yep.
Any more to share about that?
Yeah, so we sent out the modular home RFP a while ago. This board has had a chance to review it. We tried to make it resemble a bid as much as possible due to the threshold that these projects are going to be. And so that included what we did this morning, which is a bidders conference to allow the firms to come in and ask questions. We're also accepting those via email and phone until, I believe, next week, Wednesday, 17th, yeah. And then we will aggregate all those questions and send back out to all the firms that have requested information and all the firms we originally sent the proposals to. So that way, if there's, something vague in the RFP or an unknown that we just didn't think about, or maybe they're thinking about something that they should and we didn't, they have the opportunity to bring that to our attention and we can clarify with that. good questions. We have a list of questions from one firm that we will respond to, all very, manageable for the most part. Some of them will require a little bit of research. But it's ideally going to allow all the firms to produce a response that is better than, if we didn't talk to them at all. And let's see, is there anything to note specifically? They all seem confident with the time frame. I stressed more than once, this is meant to be done within 2026. Tried to make it clear that if they had concerns about that, to raise it, and they all seem very confident that they can deliver, so.
All right. Any questions from board members? Okay. The next, on the agenda is the accounting, and we had added, specifically
Yep.
this item
Yeah.
regarding the ProNexus accounting, the accounting RFP, a response from ProNexus, which came in relatively recently.
Mhm.
It should circulate today via email. Wanna
Yeah, so as you know, we've been struggling to come to an agreement with some of our prior respondents. Just due to the cost, that we have reached out to firms since then, considered that RFP process non-responsive at this point because we haven't been able to find something that comes within budget. So we reached out to a couple of different organizations that provide these services, which I've come to learn are called outsourced accounting services. We are waiting on a reply from one that I was really hopeful would get us, but they also express they're very busy right now, as you can imagine an accounting firm would be this time of year. I am not super confident we will get a proposal anytime soon. But we did receive one from a company called ProNexus, which actually was a referral from our audit company. They suggested that we reach out to them if we're still looking because they've worked with them and have high confidence with their work. So we held a call with them to discuss what our needs are, sent them the RFP we previously submitted, and they have submitted a proposal that identifies, as I mentioned, sort of outsourced accounting. So their whole, they do more than this, but one of the services they offer is for smaller businesses that need accounting but don't want to have anyone in-house who does it. And so it's really kind of what we're looking for. So they do basic bookkeeping, they can do accounts payable, they can do accounts receivable, they will, reconcile our bank accounts and any sort of credit cards that we may have. They do process payroll if we needed it. They will help with monthly and closing and reporting for this board. Currently, we're handling the transaction report in-house, but ideally, when we bring on an accounting firm, they'll do that for us. They also provide audit support. So what that means is, as we've been working with the auditors right now, they've had questions on what's going on. So we provide them more information or specific details. They could do that for us in the future. And then they also, so that is essentially staff level work, that is not a high level position within the organization, but they do have additional 3 hours of controller services per month, which would be a higher level, helping us understand how things are moving, what they need to maybe tweak in how we maintain our services and how we handle our books with them. So that's part of their bronze package. So if you recall what I sent out, oh, thank you, Grace, heads it up. They have 3 different levels. Bronze is kind of the lowest level that I just described. Silver is slightly enhanced, and then gold is more than that. And then they offer a flat fee or hourly basis. Flat fee is, at least for their proposal, they're proposing $1,000 a month. So that would be monthly. And then that would also be a total of at least 12 hours of services per month. They did say that there's, ebb and flow. And so there are, if 1 month it's 15 and another month it's, 9, that's not going to be the end of the world. And then I think that's about it in terms of kind of the summaries. They do have rates that we called out, which are more affordable than some of the other rates we have. So I think this is a proposal we should take seriously and consider because they seem to have exactly what we need for the most part. They don't have experience with other land banks. They do have experience with other nonprofits. So slight difference there, but not one that I think is deal breaker in my opinion, based on the conversations I've had with them.
The only thing is we'd have to amend our budget.
That's exactly right.
What were the other two? I thought they were around 12,000 too, also, I should say.
I'd have to bring it up, but they were pretty
They were
close,
hourly.
but they were hourly, and so there was no guarantee on the amount of services.
Thank you. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
the Bonodio services included fees that do not result in staff time that totaled nearly half of the budget. So there, I think it was close to $4,000 of fees alone.
The tech fees or
Yeah.
whatever.
So $300 a month.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And to confirm audits included. That's what it looks like. in
No,
there.
no, audit is not included. Audit
Okay,
is still a separate entity. Audit support is included. So, back and forth questions, looking into our books when audit has a question.
support.
So it would cut out some of the time that we've been spending in-house with those questions.
So we would have to actually look at even more than the $1,000 a month.
No.
No, because the audit's a separate.
Yeah,
okay,
the audit-
audit's-
Okay.
the
The
audit's
audit's
the
already
agreement.
through
Oh, that's right.
different,
Okay.
yeah.
We acquire grants. Did you talk to them about, would they do anything around grant compliance,
Yep.
anything with the?
Yeah, so I had a conversation with them and I did explain essentially what we're doing. We have 2 grants that we need to keep track of and we need to keep track of per property as well. So I think we have a better understanding of our needs than we did when we first went into this process. So we were able to explain that and they did not have any issues in terms of that. The only other thing is, the software, if we want to go with QuickBooks, is outside of their pricing structure. So that would be something we would be responsible on our own. So, that is depending on the software you pay. Could be another, oh goodness, I think it was close to $100 a month, but I'm not positive. I'd have to look that up. So before we move forward with anything, we would get a formal engagement letter for this board to review and authorize. But I wanted to have this discussion since we're looking for accounting services, see if anyone has any knowledge of this company and see if they have any questions that we can submit to them before we move forward.
I do not have any experience with Pronexus, wondering if anybody at the table is familiar with them.
Do you foresee going the flat rate route?
It seems like whenever we get into hourly fees, there's a bit more unknown that scares me based on what we see. And then it depends, of course, on the staff level and things like that. So if they have to bring in someone more experienced, then it gets more costly quickly. I think if we can get the flat rate within budget or close to our budget, I think it makes sense.
And they're local?
They are, yes,
I
they're
don't
in
see that
Pittsburgh.
here. Okay,
And they did say they, of course, would be willing to come to our meeting, not every month, but as needed.
Yeah, I guess I would prefer if we can come down to our budget, make it somehow.
it's pretty close. $1,000, I think, or $2,000.
And ideally, I'm presuming that at least for 2026, we're paying monthly, it would be pretty close to our budget. Best case scenario, we get this started in March, if possible. And so that would be our budget for the year. That would actually be spot on. Next year would be a challenge. So we would have to, we haven't adopted that budget, of course, but we'd have to make sure that we have room for it.
Mhm.
It would seem to me that it would make sense to move forward to get a formal proposal from them. Do other board members agree on that?
Oh, absolutely.
Downside to that? Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns about Pronexus?
No, thanks for
Discussion.
looking for more.
And I will reach out to the one last firm before we finalize anything. So that way we have another option. We can figure out what it is.
If
But
they're-
because they come highly recommended.
I was gonna say, if they're not responsive because they're busy, maybe that's not a good sign for us.
They indicated that they would have more time, after April, which I get, but that is also a long time to wait.
Yeah.
So,
The same for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Laura, as our general counsel, anything to add or that you want to draw to our attention?
No, I think we'll have to think about what kind of contracting scheme, do we want to use their contracts? Do we want to not piggyback? Do we want to steal the county contract form and use it as our own for the land bank. So some considerations as we're getting the contracts in from your contractors.
Okay. Apologize, that was a lot of me talking, but we've been really trying to get this county nailed down, and it's been a bit more struggle than we thought.
Yeah, no, again, appreciate the efforts to identify some more potentials. Next on our agenda, and unfortunately, Pat, you may be talking again, the next item is, I can just mention that for the 3 properties we're talking about, I know you're gonna be working on putting insurance on those 3 properties. I don't know if there's much more to say about that at the moment, but
No, I mean, we will start expending ARPA dollars when we do that. So that is the good news. We will finally start tapping into that funding stream. You know, they're not worth a lot of money, so the insurance is more for liability purposes than anything else. But it is necessary, so in the event that something happens, we'll be okay. And there is a good insurance scheme through our insurance provider that allows us to pop on insurance when we acquire these properties and then pop it off quickly when we sell these.
excellent. Any questions on that one? Okay. Our appraisals RFPs have gone out.
No, so we are in the process, the appraisal RFP, I believe we sent it to you or is included in your packet.
The last
That's the last item, thank you. So that is, I intended to go out the door either today or tomorrow, whenever we can really finalize it. We've worked closely with Amy and Cliff on making sure that is, what it needs to look like. So that way we can get those appraisals done and, safeguard our any sort of liability that we may have. And then, we also need to get a survey on the properties, for a variety of reasons. So, you know, when you're acquiring property, you want to make sure you know where the boundaries are. But on some of our properties, there may be some trees that either are on the boundary or cross the boundary, and so we need to just make sure we know what that looks like before we move forward, because some of the work is probably gonna have to, pre-work will likely have to happen before we start any sort of construction or demolition work. So we just need to know what the issues are there. But that is, we're also working with Amy's staff, the county surveyor, on what that RFP looks like. And that will be, I think we have some last comments next week. We should have that out, be able to have that out the door. 17th, yeah.
Good.
And once again, thank you to Grace for really pushing these along and getting them done and working with Real Property to make these happen.
It's really great to have more than, no offense to you,
Yeah,
Pat, I
no.
think you would agree with that more than I would probably, but it's great to have Grace to have you on board. Thank you.
Absolutely.
For this board, for land bank. Any other, any questions or concerns from the board on either of the appraisals, surveying? Okay. I don't think, that's the end of our agenda, our printed agenda, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. well, I
Wondering if
believe-
there's any other items that board members want to bring up, questions, concerns? Okay. It's in terms of our next scheduled meetings, I know there was I think it was a Google survey,
Yep,
Survey
a
Monkey
poll
maybe
that
that
was
went
sent,
out, a
yeah.
poll of some sort. And I'm not sure if there's, okay, here we go, proposed for March 10th, 4 to 5:30. Just confirming that that is a time and date that works for folks.
Yeah, and Kevin, can I give, I know the email gave a little context, but
Sure. go ahead.
Debbie and I
Color.
talked about it at the beginning, and I want to share that conversation. I think it will be hard for this board to come to a preferred contractor decision in the March 11th meeting without some sort of prep work. We will send you summaries of, you know, the RFPs we get in, we'll give you details, you'll get to see them. But I think that's gonna be a lot to digest, and it's really only over the weekend that we'll be able to get those to you. So we probably will send them out, you know, by the end of Friday. You'll have till the following Wednesday to review those. But I think it would be helpful to have a bit of a discussion before you make a decision, and also have some time to maybe dwell on the conversation. So I'm proposing that we meet on, it was either Monday or Tuesday based on what your schedules are. And it sounds like March 10th is the best time. March 10th at 4 to 5:30 works for most of you. So we can confirm that at this meeting. But my goal is we will then have a chance to talk about those summaries, talk about the proposals, it will be a special public meeting, so it, we'll be doing similar things, but it will allow us to digest those in a way that I don't think we can do without that. And then, we don't have to take a full hour and a half. If we can get it done in an hour or a half hour, great. And we can leave. And then ideally, we come back at our regular scheduled meeting where we have typical business that we would normally handle, plus potentially a decision on who is our preferred contractor to work with. And then that starts the next step of the RFP process, which is working with them to figure out what that agreement would look like, and then triggering them to move forward with the next steps of architectural plans. Because right now, if you recall, we're only getting sketch plans to make it a little bit easier on the RFP or the contractors. So I know that is a time that might be challenging, but that is what we're looking for.
Hope we don't run into any snags with the RFP responses so that we were able to make a decision by the next day.
Yep.
Because some of the other responses, we haven't been able to make that decision that quickly.
Yeah, and that's why we're hoping to get you information on that Friday. So ideally, you can start to think about those questions. We won't really have a lot of time to go back and forth with the respondents at that point, but it is a bid, and so we're really meant to not do that until we have someone to select it.
That's right.
Can board members confirm that March 10th, 4 to 5:30 is a date that works? So Orlando, thumbs up.
That will work for me.
Unfortunate for you. Great on it. Sure.
Don't even talk to me, okay?
Jennifer, was that a yes from you too, or?
Yes, right, the second, we've got.
It's possible that it might not work for the two of us.
Okay,
Um,
well, understood.
so maybe the Monday was no good for people? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not really.
Okay, well, I'll get over it.
Monday might not work for you anyway.
Yeah,
But
no,
anyway, so
Yeah.
No, this.
it'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Just keep swimming.
And I can't remember if there was an option on the poll to do it earlier on Wednesday, start at, I don't know, 2 o'clock and have that discussion before the board meeting.
No,
I don't know if that's-
I wanted time in between,
Understood.
but if that works better
Well,
for
that's
this board,
just what I'm
then
wondering, considering there's some downsides to that,
Yep,
obviously.
yep, I get that.
Honestly, I'm not even sure that that's better.
There's no
Okay.
wiggle room.
You're right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
We should see complete bids realistically, especially because we already had the question answer session.
Mhm.
So that'll work.
can,
And will we have enough of us if you can't make it?
well, if I'm not here, Jen's not here, so that's, and there's 5 board members and 2 would be missing, so you're down to 3.
And plus Thalia.
And then Thalia also.
Right, she's on vacation, so that would.
everyone else showed it.
Anna?
Right.
Honestly, she can get her.
Half an hour ago, it worked for me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. When we responded, it worked.
Right.
I must stop all that.
So we can tentatively say that's gonna be our next meeting. We don't have to announce it yet, but we do have to at some point publicly notice it if it works.
Could you discuss things at the regular scheduled meeting and then call a special meeting the following week?
We could, I mean,
To
that's
vote,
another
just to
option.
vote on the RFP, so you just digest it, kind of normally on the Wednesday and then the next week.
Anything after that date, I should be pretty available. Right.
And why is it you're leaving again?
Yeah.
I think it's a 6, so it's all.
I mean,
Because
we,
you have our sense, yes.
we could definitely entertain that. So if, to Josh's point, if it works to hold our regular meeting and then have a special meeting the following week, which I don't know what date that is, Grace, can you pull it up when you get a chance? So that would be the week of 16th to the 20th.
Oh, Cliff will be there. Cliff's got my calendar memorized. I'm gonna be, in Albany
Okay.
that week. Yeah.
And you can meet as a body, you just can't vote without.
Yeah.
quorum. So if if there are people that want to discuss it together, you know, you have to notice it, you have to
Yep.
treat it as an open meeting, you just can't vote on it.
Yep.
Let's hope for the best on the 10th.
Yeah,
We will confirm before then, so we will reach out and make sure that whatever's going on, everyone knows what that is, but I think we're gonna need more than that hour and a half to decide this. If we get the amount of proposals, I think it's gonna be a decent amount to digest, and I think that we'll have questions. And so I want to provide the board an opportunity to figure that out.
And being one of the bigger decisions we're gonna make, I think it makes sense for us to take the time to fully
Yep.
go through that, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, so for now, we'll stick with the 10th, pending if there's any other updates shortly. about,
And Amy,
you know,
can I ask, will you know,
nope,
no?
And you're gonna.
you're gonna hear about it.
I-
As soon as we get done with this meeting, I gotta chew your ear off a little bit. It would be great.
But, okay, so we'll figure it out. Okay.
Okay. Before we adjourn, any other items that board members want to bring up? Or not, or others, that's it.
We shared the appraisal RFP with you. If anyone does have any final comments for us, please share them. We can get them out the door or we can add them, but we intend to get it out the door, really as soon as possible so we can move forward quickly.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Seconded. All in favor?
Bye.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for accommodating me.
Thank you.
Thank